to In Fearless Conversation, a podcast from 261 Fearless, where every discussion is an opportunity to shape the future. I'm your host, Kim Chafee, and together we'll explore any topic that impacts a woman's quality of life, from leadership and personal growth to health and financial security. Join me and discover how a fearless conversation can shape the future you deserve. Hey everyone, welcome back to In Fearless Conversation. I hope you are all doing well this beautiful April day. Well, maybe it's not beautiful when you're listening to it, but it's beautiful while I'm recording. So I'm just enjoying the sunshine because it feels like it's been a long winter here in New Hampshire. Today on the podcast, we are going to tackle something that probably seems a little strange for us to tackle, but I promise it is important, it is relevant, and we are going to put a 261 twist on it so it relates to women's running as well. We're talking about artificial intelligence, or AI. I know even within my own family, the topic of AI brings up very strong feelings on both sides of the issue. So it's a very positive thing for some, and it's a very negative thing for others. And sometimes people feel both of those things. There's lots of ethical things with AI, and there's also a lot of fear around AI. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to talk about it with our 261 coaches. One of the things we are extremely proud of at 261 Fearless is our education program and our ongoing education program. And what that means is that we continue to provide information on a variety of topics to all of our 261 coaches as long as they are a coach with 261. These are topics that are helpful to them in their role as 261 coaches, but also helpful and empowering for them in their personal and professional lives. And AI is everywhere right now. You really can't look online and be on the internet without encountering AI in some form. And whether you love it or you hate it or you fall somewhere in between, we wanted to provide information on AI so that our coaches who were feeling fearful around it could understand it better and hopefully feel a little less fear around it. But what does AI have to do with women and running? Well, AI is like a brain. And with 261 and running, we know that running is an extremely powerful tool for our human brain. So what we're going to do on the podcast today is we're going to explore a few of the functions of AI and connect them to our own brain functions and how running supports those brain functions. And to do that, I'm so thrilled that we have our two in-house experts, Dr. Juliet McGrattan and Marlies Hirschbeck, to join us back on the podcast to explore these areas. We're going to talk about efficiency and organization. We'll talk about curiosity and memory. And Marlies will even talk with us a little bit about how we are using language AI tools when we all meet in August in Vienna, Austria for a 261 Fearless Global Coach Summit. We're very excited about bringing together coaches from all over the world to cross borders and make connections and learn from each other. Juliet, Marlies, welcome back to the podcast.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm so glad you're both here. We're talking today about something that I think most people would not connect with 261 Fearless and running, but we're going to kind of talk about it a bit and then put our 261 Fearless twist on it. And so it's going to all make sense. We're talking about artificial intelligence, or AI. And I think there's many, many different emotions that people have surrounding AI. It's everywhere, whether we recognize it or not. Many people love it. Many people hate it. Many people fear it. And it's a very techy thing. So why is this something that we've decided to explore with 261 Fearless? Juliet?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think we're called 261 Fearless. So we want to help women to be fearless. And change happens all the time in the world, and we can't pretend it doesn't. And we need to be curious and open-minded. We don't necessarily have to use the new technologies, but at least making a choice and having an idea as to what it is, deciding if it's something we want to engage with, because there are positives, obviously, as well as maybe some negatives. But I think it's about giving women the confidence to look at information, to decide what's right for them, to do things at a pace that's right for them, and either use it or not, according to how they feel. But unless you explore a new topic, and like you said in the intro, a lot of it can be fear. It can just be fear of the unknown or uncertainty, and not really knowing how to go about using it or where to even begin in applying it. So we call ourselves fearless. So I think we're not pretending to be AI experts. We're just coming at it from our own angle as well, and thinking personally, how do we feel? How could it be useful to our coaches? And is there a way we can present this which feels less threatening for those that maybe do have some fear?
Yeah, it's interesting because when I saw this topic come across our calendar as our theme that we would be exploring, I thought, well, how are we going to talk about that? Because you, Juliet and Marlies, are our health and education experts, but not necessarily on the technology side of things. So I was very curious how we were going to tackle it. And I think it's so important that we've decided to do that because, like you said, change is inevitable. Things are happening in our world that we don't have control over. AI isn't going anywhere. And I think one of the really important things we wanted to make sure our coaches knew was how to spot AI, basically, right? Because there are things that you come across that you won't necessarily realize are AI. And that can be dangerous depending on how you respond to it, right? And part of 261 Fearless and the education program is bringing this information to our coaches so that they're more knowledgeable about all aspects of their life, right? So not just as a 261 coach, but in their personal lives and in their professional lives. I think that's one really important piece of 261 is this ongoing education program that we have that provides our coaches with up-to-date information on a range of topics. And this is just an example. But the 261 Fearless twist that we decided to take on this, Marlies, was to take AI, which is kind of like a brain of sorts, right? It's a thinking machine, and kind of bridge that to the human brain and what running does for us with the human brain. And we kind of explored a few different aspects of this. And one of them is efficiency. AI is very efficient. Lots of people will tell you. But our human brain is also efficient. And running can help us with that. How do we run efficiently? Let's make it 261 Fearless like here.
We are doing, a little bridge now over to physiology. So running or doing your exercises can make you more efficient. That means your body is producing more energy. It's producing energy more efficient. So running can help you to not be more efficient only during sports or whatever, but also during everyday life. So it helps you maybe to calm down. Running can help you to work more efficiently, because you all know if you do a workout, you all know how you feel afterwards, and you probably feel more calmed down, and then you can do your work more efficiently. And so we can relate it more or less to AI. AI is a very efficient tool, although we know it has its good and its not so good sides.
And running efficiently itself is important, right? And that's something that we work a lot on, is running the right way, right? A lot of people might not think there's a right way to run, but there are certain things that we want to keep in mind when we run in order to run efficiently, right? Why is that?
Yeah, so although we are all different and we all have different size, different angles, and so on, there's a way you can run as efficient as possible. For example, I'll start with the feet. We always say that we should aim for a midfoot strike, because this is the most efficient way to run. Then you should keep your body upright, so upright body position, so that you don't lose energy. It all comes back to physics. You always learn there that a body that moves forward should move sidewards, because then you lose all your energy. So yes, there are a few points for running that you can make it more efficient, but I think the most important point is to have fun, because we as humans are born to run, and running should be fun, and not only always coming back to, oh, how can I get better? How can I get better? But how can I have more fun or make the most out of it?
I love that. Excellent. Okay, so another AI piece that we're bridging to 261 is organization, right? These AI tools can help a lot with organizing all sorts of things. But with women and running, how would this help women in running and in life? As far as like maybe making a schedule or making time for a run, or maybe helping our coaches get organized in their role as a coach. Juliet, what do you think about this?
I definitely think that when you become a runner, it can help you with your organizational skills, because we all think we haven't got enough time to do things. But when you decide that you want to start running and you realize you quite like running and you want to run a bit more or a bit more often, or maybe you want to train for an event, you find these little windows of time that you didn't know existed, whether you're getting up a bit earlier in the morning, whether you're doing it at the same time as doing a household chore, or you're going somewhere and dropping something off and running back. And I definitely think that actually learning to fit running into your life helps you become good at prioritizing. You're thinking, right, if I want to run today, I have to do this. I have to free up this time. I have to put these clothes on and be in this place. And then you kind of make that work in your day. So speaking personally, I definitely think it made me feel the value of time, and actually how much I could get done in 15 or 20 minutes when I really needed to, in order to free up 15 or 20 minutes to go for a run. So I think it can be really helpful that way. But I also think, when you're organizing, that's what AI does, doesn't it? It draws information from everywhere and brings it to you in an organized way. So our brains have that ability to do that. And I think the actual physical exercise is so good for our brain. It helps to boost blood flow in areas of the brain that are involved with memory and organization. So actually, it isn't just a case of finding the time. It's actually doing something that actively helps our brain to to get organized and be able to retain information and prioritize and bring those kind of executive functions into action. So I think there's lots of different, I mean, as a 261 coach, you have to be pretty organized because you have to lots of extra things to fit in your week and planning your meet run and getting everybody informed of the right days and times. And there are organizational skills. So if they're not something that you feel are a strong point, they are certainly something that you will find you develop in your role as a coach or a club director. So we're not expecting coaches to be super, super organized, if people when they first come to us. But I think they'll all say, actually, it has pushed me a bit to realize that I can organize things and get all these things that I need to do done.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I think that's something that when people do start running, like you were saying with, planning out what you're going to wear for the day and when you're going to fit in your run or whatnot, it's something that I don't think we even consciously think of that that's an organizational piece that we're doing. But you're right. It's actually something that, we're subconsciously kind of taking into account. So one of the cool things that AI can do is connected with language. And language is a big piece for 261 Fearless because we are global and our coaches speak many different languages. And this is something we're kind of exploring for an upcoming coach summit we have in August in Vienna, which we're very excited about. And our theme is crossing borders. We have several languages. We have German, we have English, we have Spanish, we have French. And it adds a challenge for us to all communicate effectively together. And I know that this is something we're exploring for the summit. Marlies, language-wise, what's our plan for our summit? Are we using AI? Is that our plan?
Yes, that's our plan. I'm also very excited about the summit because about 100 261 coaches are coming to Austria. So yeah, Austria is where I am from. That means that I don't have a long journey. So yes, we are going to use AI and we don't want language a barrier anymore. As you already mentioned, Kim, we're gonna welcome 261 coaches from, let's say, nearly the whole world. We are very international. We have clubs in 14 countries. And yeah, we are going to use AI as a, let's say, translator. We're going to use an app so that we have real-time translation for all of our coaches. We haven't been using it before, but let's see how it works out. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, I think this is one of those pieces, some people have very positive feelings towards AI and then some people have very negative feelings towards AI, right? I mean, I feel like we could do an entire podcast on just that, on how people feel about AI. And this is one of those tools that I think is so beneficial because it's breaking down these barriers and allowing us to connect in a way that was more challenging before. And I just think the benefits of AI, some of the benefits are extremely powerful and are going to really have a profound effect on the way the world moves forward. And I think this is one of those areas that is really transformational. So I'm really excited for that. I want to end here on just one more aspect because I think it's interesting. Curiosity is something we have as one of the pieces we're exploring in connection to AI. And I think, AI is beneficial, like we've been saying, but it can't replace human connections. It can't replace human curiosity. Juliet, will you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think the overarching message is that I think with AI, sometimes we can become more isolated. And actually, what we're doing in one of our missions at 261 Fearless is to bring women together and to bring them together in person whenever we can, like at the summit or like at our meet runs every week. So it's the idea of bringing women together so that they can learn from each other, be curious about each other, learning, meeting new friends, asking questions, and I think particularly in the arena of 261 Fearless, education is such an important part of what we do, and curiosity is needed for continuous learning. And you think about children, they're so curious, they ask question after question after question. And actually, one of our coaches in the UK said that she's very, very curious. If you have a conversation with her, she just wants to know everything about everything. And she'd been kind of led to believe that that was really a weakness, that she was too nosy or too inquisitive, or could she not just let it be? But actually, she's really pleased that through 261 Fearless that she's been able to think, actually, no, this is a strength. Because if you're curious, then you want to continue learning and lifelong learning. You're never too old to learn. So we're bringing women together, and reducing sort of isolation, but encouraging an atmosphere of curiosity, whether you're learning about how to run, whether you're learning about how to become a leader, whether you're learning about women's health, whether you're learning about how to run efficiently, or you're learning about the woman that's running next to you and what her culture is and what she thinks. And I think that we should never stop being curious, but it is something that sometimes we think associate with children, whereas it should be something we want to do lifelong. Yeah, part of our toolkit and our toolbox, and not something we should squash. And I think we do. I think we do a good job of encouraging it at 261 Fearless, and we don't want tools like AI to remove the sort of personal contact that we have with each other, because we do encourage each other to be curious.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting, the coach you're speaking of, about asking questions and just always being curious about things. I love that, because I feel there have been several, moments just as an adult, right? You say children ask questions and that's natural to them. But as an adult, I've almost felt like in certain situations, I shouldn't ask a question because I'm an adult and I should already know this, right? Should I already know this? And we're almost afraid of maybe looking foolish or uneducated or whatnot, instead of just asking a question. Because it's okay to not know the answer, right? I don't know why we have that sense of, I should know all of this information already.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's more common in women as well, not to put their hand up and ask the questions, especially in the public arena. And I think that we want to create a safe space for women to be able to ask whatever question they want without worrying that it's a stupid question, or that they should know the answer. And that does need a very safe environment for women to who might feel vulnerable, asking certain questions, or like you say, worrying that they're going to feel stupid or judged. And that's one thing we really try hard to do, is to create that safe place for women to be curious and ask those questions, whatever they are.
Absolutely. Such an important piece. Okay, then to leave our listeners with one last bit, when they're learning about AI, or maybe have a question about AI, or even if they are feeling very much against AI, just from each of you, what's one thing you would encourage anyone listening when it comes to this topic?
I would say, as we do for our 261 meet runs, go for your own pace. You don't need to hesitate. Just try it out if you want to try it out. If you feel good with it, try it and go for it. And I'm sure if you go for it, you'll find something good in it, because it can help you during your everyday life, or even also during your professional life. It can make life easier and also faster. But yeah, go with your own pace. And if you don't feel comfortable with it,
maybe that uncomfortable feeling might be because you're doing something new, right? You're
Yes.
stepping outside your comfort zone. So give it some time to maybe marinate a bit, or maybe continue pushing yourself a little bit, right? Because anything new feels uncomfortable. And the more information you have, the less fearful maybe you are about something. Yeah, I love that. Juliet, how about you?
I would say, sort of along those similar lines, if there are new things in life, such as AI or whatever the challenge is, and you feel that you're not sure how to handle it, just do some more running.
I love
Because
it.
running has this amazing way of empowering you. And the more you grow in confidence with your running and learn about your body and what feels good for you and what you can do, the more fearless you become. And if you become empowered and fearless through running, then that will help you in all these other aspects of your life. Like you say, if you are feeling a little bit out of your comfort zone in terms of AI, if you felt out of your comfort zone through testing out yourself in your running, then it won't feel so foreign or so uncomfortable to you. So whatever the challenge is, just do a little bit more running.
Thank you so much to Juliet and Marlies for joining us for this fearless conversation about AI. We just scratched the surface with all of the functions of AI. And so I encourage you to continue to follow us on social media. We will be posting about the functions of AI and how they relate to our own brain functioning through the rest of this month and next. So make sure that you are following us on Instagram and Facebook. And also, we're on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed, please make sure that you go ahead and do that. I hope this conversation was interesting and piqued your curiosity and made you feel a little bit more fearless about the changing world and your place in it. That's it for this episode. Have a great week. We'll see you soon. Until then, stay fearless.